Before we go to the episode, let me tell you something. Shoppers' expectations are skyrocketing, and so are the opportunities to innovate. That's why we will go to Shoptalk Europe, where retail's biggest players will be together to share the tools and ideas to stay ahead. Join us in Barcelona from June 2nd to 4th. You can learn more about it at shoptalkeurope.com. Now, let's go to the episode. Do you have a direct-to-AI agent strategy? A new channel is emerging, and this is the type of conversations we'll have more and more this year and beyond. If you walked around the exhibitor floor at NRF 2025 that happened in New York last month, you saw how much of AI was everywhere. Compared to previous years, it had a different word attached to it, agent. And if you combine it with OpenAI's latest announcement, we'll see a lot of things changing quicker than we could have anticipated. But AI wasn't the only topic discussed at the event. Unified commerce continues to get better, more accessible, and integrated. And the challenges around loyalty are still very present in everyone's conversation, especially when it comes to building communities. In today's episode, we'll talk about the challenges and opportunities for this year coming from consumers and technologies in our NRF 2025 recap. Here's Paula Macadi, and this is episode 55 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. Hi everyone, I'm glad to be back from the busiest week ever in New York. First, I have to say that I'm very grateful for meeting so many of our listeners. Sometimes we are so focused on the day-to-day work that we don't realize how big of an impact OFFBounds have. And it was an amazing experience to hear your thoughts, feedback, and meet you face-to-face. The most impressive thing of meeting you on the show floor is that the probability of this to happen was very low. There were 40,000 attendees from more than 100 countries walking around, and we could see and feel how busy the event was. Out of the 175 sessions and 450 speakers in the show, I was able to see only the first one. That's because the event was so big that the sessions got filled out too soon. So I dedicated the event to learn from the people that are driving the change. The best part of all these events is exactly that, the people. The connections you make, who you talk to, how you let you get immersed into the possibilities of the future. And that, my friends, is looking more like sci-fi than ever. At the big show, there were 1,000 exhibitors, and it's said that 125 were demoing AI solutions. But my feeling was that there were a lot more. As you walked around, you could see AI signs everywhere, which at first made me wonder why we were so focused on the tool instead of the solution. But now I get why the event was themed Game Changer. Because it seems like 2025 will be the year for AI-driven transformation, and it's very important that your business doesn't stay behind. So let's go back really quick to when ChatGPT was launched in November 2022, and there were lots of guesses on how it would transform the way we shop. And that has definitely helped in many repetitive tasks. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to imagine our lives without a ChatGPT. The best use cases that I feel are visible in customer interface are chatbots that can answer customer inquiries and help with product discoveries. But I think some of the most interesting changes are in consumer behavior. A quick reminder that all the sources of what I'll talk about in this episode will be available in our newsletter. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I put a link in the show notes. The day before NRF started, I went to Capgemini's office to hear from Lindsay Maza, as she talked about some very interesting consumer data published in their What Matters to Today's Consumer report. Probably one of the most striking data for me is that 75% of consumers are open to generative AI recommendations, compared to 63% from last year. And almost 60% of consumers have already replaced traditional search engines by Gen AI tools for product recommendations. So if you think about 4 or 5 years ago, our traditional way to look for products would be going on Google and searching for it. Let's say I have a friend throwing a party for her 2-year-old, and I have no idea what a child of that age likes. My traditional way of finding the product will be going on Google and searching for gift ideas for a 2-year-old boy. And that will give me many suggestions of websites that ranked well in there because of SEO. But now searching on Google is becoming a thing for old people. What Capgemini's data is telling us is that consumers now go to a generative AI tool like ChatGPT, for example, and say,
"My friend invited me for her son's party. He is turning 2 and I'd like to give him something that will last. What should I get him?"
And just like that, ChatGPT gives you a list of 10 products and why they're good. The implications of it are huge. For decades, brands have invested in SEO strategies to appear first in Google searches. And now SEO won't be that important anymore. The challenge, which is also an opportunity, is to figure out tactics for a LLMO, meaning large language models optimization. There's a need for understanding what the strategies are to rank in GPT recommendations. But Gen AI is far from being the only source of brand discovery and purchase. Social commerce is coming stronger than ever, and Capgemini predicts that until 2030, all channels will have a shopping component. In 2024, 53% of Gen Z bought something through social media platforms, which is up from 46% in 2023. And 40% of consumers use social media for customer service interactions. While social commerce is usually attributed to live streams, it is a lot more than that. Social commerce is any purchase that happens on social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or that drove the consumer to buy on the brand's website. Social media is still the primary product discovery platform for brands, with 51% of consumers saying they discovered a new product in the last 6 months in November 2024, which is up from 33% in November 2023. The biggest driver to product discovery is still influencers. While 45% of Gen Z consumers bought a product from influencers and celebrities, 33% of millennials have done so, and this is one of the areas I don't see AI changing much. But here comes what AI can do to meet a growing demand. 70% of consumers are willing to pay extra for quick delivery, which is up from just 42% in 2023. This is a big jump. There are 2 levels of quick delivery though, which are in 10 minutes or in 2 hours. For both, consumers are willing to pay 9% of the order value to get the item as quickly as possible, up from 6% in 2023 and 4% in 2022. And hey, I am one of those. And if I want something, I want something now. The best use case for AI for me so far is in supply chain optimization. And that goes from optimized warehouse product placements to last mile delivery. So let's say one customer wants to buy a blue t-shirt from your brand. This t-shirt is available in 5 stores in the city this customer lives. So with a good order management system, AI will calculate what is the closest store this t-shirt can be delivered from, taking into consideration 1, how many of them are in the inventory of each store, if they are selling well, because you don't want to take from the store that is selling the product, and other possible factors. This can fulfill the speed for quick delivery in ship from store and also add to the omnichannel experience by supporting BOPIS. Now, you know what was actually a big hit at NRF aside from AI? RFID. Yes, RFID has existed for more than 20 years, and according to an article at Chain Storage, 2025 will be the year RFID breaks through, which I confess is crazy for me to think that only now it will happen. I'm sure many of you already know what RFID is, but for those that aren't so familiar, I'll explain. RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification, and it uses electromagnetic fields to automatically identify and track tags attached to objects. In retail, it is very common to see RFID tags attached to clothes, and it comes directly from the manufacturer with them and makes each piece trackable within the supply chain. That gives the retailer full inventory visibility even in store, which is the foundation to develop better unified customer experiences. Leading brands like Levi's, Lululemon, Zara, On, and so many more use this type of technology to be more efficient overall. NRF, one of the highlights for sure, was NetApp's booth. It was themed from chaos to control, and it really showed the pain of not having inventory visibility. They had a game at their booth called the Chaos Game, which of course I played, and it put me in the shoes of a store associate that had to find a few items to fulfill an order. The longer it took me to find them, the more money I would lose, and I have to say that it took me a while. And that was the perfect representation of what a store associate has to go through when they don't have the right tools available. They waste their time looking for products when they could actually spend it doing what's best for them and for the business: sell. As I pointed out earlier, RFID is also a great ally for an overall omnichannel experience. I remember when I was in Chicago, for example, and I really wanted to buy a pair of pants from Levi's. So I checked their website and saw that at that store near my hotel, there wasn't my size. So I chose to order online and pay extra to deliver it to me quicker. That saved me the time and the frustration to go to a store to then find out that there wasn't my size. RFID now is more accessible than ever, and it really makes no sense for brands to not have it adopted. It will make their operations more efficient and set the foundation necessary for future technology developments, including AI. I added the link to NetApp's website in the show notes. Now, walking around the exhibitor floor was very energizing. Lots of people and the smell of opportunity around. One thing I didn't see much though, and I consider that a very important topic, was sustainability. It seems like it continues to not be a priority for NRF and US retailers in general, which is quite sad. If not for the obvious environmental reasons, maybe losing customers could be a good drive to be sustainable. According to the same Capgemini report that I mentioned earlier, 67% of consumers say the reason they switched retailers was their lack of sustainability. In a time when loyalty is so hard to get and customer acquisition costs are so high, every strategy should have customer retention as focus. And that's why loyalty is such a recurrent topic in retail. Younger generations are continuously exposed to new products, and loyalty programs don't seem to be providing tangible value for its members. 70% of consumers said they switched brands to experiment, and 65% said that subscribing to a membership program didn't result in a better experience. But what really drives loyalty is a combination of factors, like product innovation cycle, customer experience, a program with a clear value, and the ultimate one that will shape the rest of the decade: belonging. The world is going through a transformation that is alarming. Gen Zers are also being called Generation Zero Friends, and it's being considered the loneliest generation in history, which is so paradoxical because we now have all the devices and tools to stay connected with each other, and yet we struggle to do that in real life. 50% of Gen Zers said they wished TikTok and X were never invented. The term dopamine fasting has never been so searched. And do you know what that means? It means they are craving for real offline connections and experiences. They want to belong. And here's my question to you. Will you as a brand or retailer give ways for them to do that? A few episodes ago, I talked about the boom of running, which is a great example of how offline communities are being formed as a response to this excess of connectivity. According to sports app Strava, there was an increase of 59% in running club participation in 2024, and 58% of survey respondents said they made new friends via fitness groups, while nearly 1 in 5 Gen Z went on a date with someone they met through exercise. Several brands are trying to surf this wave, and it's a global phenomenon that some are doing an incredible job. in engaging with these local communities worldwide. A good example is Hoka's corner shop that just opened in London, and Bandit in New York, where they have a coffee shop. It's a place for runners to hang out, and they promote weekly and monthly events for the running community. So it's for themselves, it's not for the brand. You understand? Sports are full of examples of community engagement, and so does beauty. But there are many initiatives in fashion pursuing it. Another highlight of NRF was New Black's event, where I joined other experts who were also wearing the coolest jacket, including Stuart from our last episode, to talk about exactly that. The need to focus on community building and serve the consumers who want to interact not with the brand, but with each other. And Lenny, the head of product of New Black, presented their wonderful product vision to incorporate community building components to Eva, their already incredible unified commerce platform that has been serving leading retailers worldwide. The link to their website is also in the show notes. And if you walk around New York, Shanghai, and the streets of many European cities, you see more and more brands incorporating coffee shops and restaurants in their stores and to their brand strategy, which is a way to engage consumers in more experiences and not only transactions. If you went on a retail safari while in New York, you have probably seen Louis Vuitton new temporary store and a restaurant, Tiffany's and Ralph Lauren's coffee shop, and so many more. One of the hardest restaurants to get a reservation in the city is Polo Bar, a restaurant by Ralph Lauren, proving that a brand can be a feeling and a third place, not only stores. The experience economy is getting more exciting for 2025, and hopefully we'll have more time to enjoy it because the bigger disruption for this year is coming from AI agents. Unlike ChatGPT, AI agents can actually take on complex tasks and execute actions, optimize processes, analyze data, resolve issues, and answer questions, all with minimal human intervention. For the entire first season of OFFBounds, we talked about AI as a tool that will give human superpowers, more like a complementary buddy. But with AI agents, I imagine that we will see many jobs getting lost. And I honestly didn't realize that while I was in NRF. It only hit me when OpenAI released the Operator, which is an AI agent for everyone. In their video presentation, they show how you can ask the agent to make a reservation for you at a restaurant and even buy groceries. So imagine that it won't take much longer for you and me be able to order everything else using our agent. And then soon, brands and retailers will have to think, what will be the agent experience? Remember that at the beginning of the episode, we were talking about LLMO strategies to appear in GPT recommendation. Now you have to figure out a direct-to-AI agent strategy, especially because most likely our customer service will also be AI agents. What will be the criteria for decision-making when buying a product? Will impulse buying disappear? Would retail media have any effect on an agent? I have so many questions, and I imagine that 2025 will come with lots of answers, as well as even more questions, and the year will end a lot different than it has begun. A specialist suggested that very soon, something like 1 year from now, we'll be able to tell an agent,
make $1 million on Amazon with this 100K. You have 6 months.
An agent will just search for products, negotiate, and create a strategy and execute it to sell on Amazon, fixing issues as it goes without human intervention. Scary, isn't it? A lot will change, but what it won't change is the wish to meet people face to face and interact with each other through experiences. Hopefully, AI will just give us more time for that. So the takeaways of this episode for a 2025 outlook are 1. Generative AI and AI agents will be part of the consumer journey, and brands and retailers will need to have a strategy to support shoppers and their AI tools. 2. Social commerce is continuing to grow, and more consumers are expected to buy from social media platforms, and by 2030, every space will have a commercial potential. 3. There's a surge in demand for quick delivery, with customers willing to pay up to 9% of the order value to get their products in 10 minutes or 2 hours. 4. 2025 will be the year RFID will break through, and none of us understand why it took so long. We just know that it's effective. 5. Consumers are craving offline experiences in search for belonging in communities, with a big opportunity for brands to facilitate these interactions. Are you ready for the year ahead? It's definitely coming with lots of challenges to be transformed into opportunities. Let me know in the comments the trends you are most excited about, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the show. Next week, we'll talk about the digital transformation of a 200-year-old brand that continues to grow. See you next Tuesday.